the San Francisco 49ers 2025 season. And you look at the San Francisco 49ers under Kyle Shanahan the last couple of years, they've reached a couple of Super Bowls. They haven't been able to get over the line, especially in the last couple of Super Bowls. But you always can, with 40, with the, except from 2024, normally the San Francisco 49ers are consistently there or thereabouts. Like you can always look at the 49ers as being a team that has, again, good weapons on the run game, has good weapons wide receiver, defensively, but they just can never get over the line. That's down to Kyle Shanahan. But in the 2025 offseason, they did lose Deebo Samuel to the Commanders, which again, you go back to that, it was kind of a big loss, but ultimately Deebo Samuel has had his injury problem recently. But yeah, the approach, like the signings that they made during the 2025 offseason. Luke Gilford came in from the Tennessee's at linebacker. So again, they was addressing the defense, especially with like they addressed linebacker, safety, wide receiver, tight end. They was addressing a lot of like the defensive side of the ball, but they only get them 1 year deals. You signed Matt Jones as a quarterback for a backup. So again, Andre Dillard, offensive tackle, not bad additions really in the offseason of 2025. But the draft here, again, the draft approach was heavily defense side of the ball, which again, that is one of the problems they've had for the last couple of years is the defense side of the ball. Mikael Williamson coming into defensive end. I was a big fan of them drafting Mikael Williams, defensive end from Georgia, 11th overall. Alfred Collins, defensive tackle. So again, you've got two guys on that defensive end that are gonna help your defense. Nick Martin, linebacker from Oklahoma State. Upton Stout, cornerback from Western Kentucky. C.J. Weston, defensive tackle from Indiana. Jordan Watkins, wide receiver from Ole Miss. Jordan James, running back from Oregon. They had to forfeit a draft pick because I think the whole thing with Tom Brady or something like that. They traded away a pick to the Vikings, and then Marquez Single, safety from Kansas State. Curtis Roque, quarterback from Indiana. Again, he could be a decent third choice backup quarterback. Connor Colby, guard from Iowa, and then Junior Bergen, wide receiver from Montana. So again, not bad options that you can have. And then you look at really the additions they had. They also traded for Sky Moore from the Chiefs. They got Brian Robson, Christian McCaffrey on the run game. So they got some good additions on that offense. Like I said, Sky Moore, Demarcus Robinson, who came from the Rams, Luke Farrell, Byron Williamson. They have Brandon Ayuk as well. So they've not got some bad options on that side of the ball. They started off the season they started the season pretty well. They started 4-2 after week 6. So again, not a bad start. Again, their only big test that during the season was Seattle on the road, and then the Rams, and then the Buccaneers. So again, they had to beat the Rams in overtime anyway, 26-23 on the road, and then they go into you go to week 7 to week 13, and they're beating. They got a great win against the Texans on the road. They destroyed the Cardinals. They lost to the Rams, and then they beat the Skid Marks on the road, and then they get to that bye week at week 14, and then they beat Tennessee 37-24, and then they completely destroyed the Colts on week 16, 48-27. That's when Philip Rivers was playing, and then they beat Bears football 42-38. That was a really good game. And then they lose to Seattle. They lost 3-13. Like they only scored 13. They only scored 3 points in that game. I don't know what the fuck was going on there, but yeah. And even with the additions that I've seen on offense, they still had the 10th best offense in the league. especially when you're going and want to win a championship, you shouldn't have the 10th best offense in the league. Defense was 13th in the league. Again, they didn't even have a top 10 defense. It was 13th out of 32. And they need to do better. I think it's offensive line. They have to address the offensive line because, again, all the names I read out earlier, and you still have the 10th best offense in the league. They have to address the offensive. They need to address the offensive line. They need a left tackle, right tackle. I still think they need a quarterback if they're going to win it. Anything. I think Brock Purdy, he's a good addition to have. He's a good backup to have, but I don't see Brock Purdy being the guy that's going to win you a championship. That's going to finally get you that Lombardi trophy. Now again, I was wrong about Sam Darnold and he's won a Super Bowl, but yeah, I just don't see it with Brock Purdy. They have $50 million over in the cap space. They're way over the cap space. They have hired Raheem Morris, so again, his defense last season wasn't the best, so good luck with that. But they have a ton of free agents that they got a ton of free agents anyway. They have a first round pick, 27th overall. They have a second round pick, 58th overall, a third round pick, and then they have some later rounds, like a couple of later rounds they have. But the biggest needs for this team is they need to do better on the offensive line. I think they have to beef up, get a couple of new starters on the offensive line, and beef up that secondary, get some more edge rushers. And I just don't have the faith that Raheem Morris's defense is going to do so well. They're over 50 million in the cap space. So again, that's Fugazi. Fugazi can work around it, but over 50 million. But again, a lot of big kind of names, like I said, free agents. Like they have Chase Lucas is on free agency. You've got Patrick Taylor. You've got Brian Robson Jr. John Weeks. Sky Moore is a free agent because you only signed for a year. It's a kind of a big kind of turnaround you're going to do in this offseason.